Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends, and thanks for dropping by the Horror Zone. I hope everyone's doing well today. This is an unplanned horror movie review. This is a movie that has been in theaters for a little over a week now. It's one I had wanted to see. I thought the trailer looked really good. This is a movie that was shot about 3 years ago, but after the acquisition of 20th Century Fox from Disney, it just sort of sat on the shelves and then they dumped it in January. The name of the movie is Underwater. And just based on what I saw when the trailer premiered and the subject matter, it looked interesting to me. I love films that take place underwater because I'm terrified of the ocean, and so those kind of films really played to my vulnerabilities, I guess you want to call them. I love movies like, it reminded me of a cross between like Deep Blue Sea, Leviathan, those kinds of movies where, you know, you're kind of got this underwater like lab or crew that are doing research or doing something, and something happens. Either they get a virus or something like in Leviathan, or there's sharks that are, you know, these genetically enhanced sharks like in Deep Blue Sea, and they're in a facility that's collapsing on itself. So those elements looked really interesting to me, so I was really anxious to check this movie out. So the plot deals with a disaster that takes place 6 miles below the ocean surface. The water starts to break into this underwater drilling facility, and not only do the survivors realize that their only hope is to walk across the ocean floor to another part of the facility that isn't being affected by this, but they soon find themselves under attack from a mysterious creature. The movie stars Kristen Stewart, Jessica Henwick, T.J. Miller, Vincent Cassell. Story and screenplay were done by Brian Duffield and Adam Kozan, and the movie was directed by William Eubank. I was surprised that this movie was dumped in January. I thought the movie looked like it had promise, and I actually enjoyed it. Did I think it was perfect? No, there's some issues with it that I have. Some of the same issues I had with Alien Covenant. One of them being that you really don't get a chance to meet these people, to sort of get an understanding of who they are and what they're all about. You kind of you're thrust into this situation with Kristen Stewart, who I thought was fantastic in the film. I think she's really, really good in it. I think she gets a lot of shit unfairly for the Twilight movies, and it's not really fair because she is a good actress. But yeah, she's great in this film. Also love T.J. Miller and Vincent Cassell. I think they were the other two strong standouts, but you never really get to know them. It's kind of like the situation happens where the facility starts collapsing. You have all these people that are trying to rush to safety and try to figure out how to get out of this facility, and it's just sort of like you're just running with them from the get-go. So you don't really have a chance to really get to know them, and I thought that was kind of that so you're not as invested in them. The creatures are really creepy, and I actually thought that they were really well done. You don't see them very well, which I thought played really well to the strengths. I did think some of the CGI was hard to make out. There was also some of the dialogue was hard to hear, and I don't know if that was just the theater I went to, but I had a hard time making out some of the things that they were saying because there was so much like exposition that was going. There was so much like explosions and things that were going on around them, and it was just hard to hear them sometimes. But I didn't think it was a bad film at all. Not only do you have good cast and solid direction, but you have some really good claustrophobic moments in this where they're trying to get to different areas of the facility, and then when they have to go on the bottom of the ocean floor to get to the area that's not being affected by the collapse, which they think might be an earthquake, but of course you know it's something else. There's something else going on. I thought they were really well staged, really well handled. There's a lot of shots where you're inside the diving suits with Kristen Stewart, and I was curious how they did those shots, but they're close-ups of her face because she's freaking out as they're going even deeper into the ocean. It's just really, really scary, and I'm terrified of being underwater. I'm terrified of drowning. So a lot of these scenes where they're running out of oxygen and they have to get to an area before something else happens, very reminiscent of Deep Blue Sea, The Descent, other movies that really give you that claustrophobic vibe, and you're with these people and you feel like you're alongside them for this ride, and it was really well done. Some of the CGI doesn't work. It does look a little bit cartoonish, but there's some really good moments in this film that really actually terrified me. Some scenes that jumped right at me, and I jumped back in my seat because I didn't expect it. So there are some really cool creature moments. There's some really good jump scares that aren't like so obvious that they're going to happen, but that really anything to do with a creature really, really gets you. And there's some good gore in this. And like I said, I was with these people through the whole thing. I just wish I would have gotten to know them a little bit better before all the shit went down. Among the other negatives, there was just like one part of it where it kind of dragged a little bit. You kind of have these really intense scenes, and then there's one part where I felt like it kind of halted things for a little bit, and it deals with one character kind of separating from the rest of them. And that was part where I just felt like it just kind of stalled for me. I don't know why. But it picked back up pretty soon right after. It didn't bore me to the point of taking me out of the movie, but it just sort of slowed things down when everything else had been really, really kind of like you got to get here to here, and you got to get here to here, and it just really, just that point, it just kind of slowed down, and I didn't know how they were going to resolve it, and I was glad that there was more in store for me, because I thought it was going to end on that kind of note, and that was going to really be a downer and bring the rating of the film down altogether. I think it's a great film. I think it's underrated. I think people should give it a chance and watch it. So yeah, it's a good film. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely one to see in the theaters. I think for a smaller budget they did a great job, and it's a shame that it's not getting more publicity. So if I had to give Underwater a rating on my scale, I would give it 3 skulls. So that is my rating of Underwater. I'm curious if anybody else has seen it. If you have, leave some thoughts down in the comment section below. Would love to hear from everyone. And as always, thanks so much for dropping by the Horror Zone, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Stay scared as always. Thank everyone for taking this time to drop by the Horror Zone. It really means a lot to me that people are supporting what I do here. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button down below. I upload videos at least once or twice a week. It would really mean a lot if people would spread the word about this channel. This is a passion of mine. I love the horror genre, and I'm really happy to share my love of it with all of you. So thanks so much again for checking it out, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Peace.